Thank you everyone for joining us today for this edition of SOCAP's Tech Tuesday. We are happy to have on board with us today Alta Resources, who's sponsoring this session. The session is How to Maximize Conversational AI. Your presenter will be Dara Rojevich. Dara, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. So for those of you, I know I've met some of you before being active in SOCAP, and some of you are clients of Alta, but for those of you that don't know me, I have been with Alta for about 18 years and really spent the last 3 to 4 years in IT focusing on AI in the contact center space. And for those of you not familiar with Alta, we are a BPO specializing in care, sales, e-commerce, fulfillment, and we've got expertise across a number of different industries, including CPG, retail, entertainment, automotive, healthcare. The list kind of goes on. And I think for most of our clients across these industries, voice has continued to be the largest and most challenging channel. And I think, there's a couple of reasons for that here. And I would say increasing complexity is probably the first one. And really that has to do with all of the different systems, all of the different information we're asking our agents to capture as they are interacting with customers on the phone. The expectation of immediacy is there. You have a living, breathing human on the other end of the phone waiting for an answer as you're trying to capture all of the information and help them through their issue or collect their information. It's also a very costly channel in that you have to have one person there to handle one phone call. It's not like chat where you can handle multiple chats at a time, email where you've got a little bit more leeway in response time. Really, it's a more costly channel because you have that one-on-one interaction with customers. And finally, as we all know, through the Great Resignation that's been happening and just the labor shortage across the board, it has been difficult to staff enough people to handle all of the consumer calls that are coming in on a regular basis. So we at Alta have developed Automate really to help with some of these challenges here. It's our AI platform, and really we're focused on these 5 buckets of use cases that you see here on the screen. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these. We've got some demos today here that I'll go through as well, and then provide some great results and case studies from some of our clients that have used these capabilities. So first off, virtual assistant. This is automatic speech recognition in the IVR, essentially a voice bot that is capable of managing low complexity calls through fully autonomous conversations with the consumer or customer, or seamlessly transferring that customer to a live agent for more complex situations. So this is really a self-serve capability that provides a more low effort customer experience. And we can give the live agent visibility to the IVR transcript and what has happened with that virtual assistant, so that it leads to a more efficient interaction so that the customer doesn't have to repeat themselves once they get to a live agent. Live Agent Assist is really capturing the transcript of the live call. We can either stream that into the CRM, or we can set up a separate web page UI if the CRM doesn't have the capability with APIs to connect in that way. And really, this is kind of the foundational voice AI capability that opens the door to all of the other capabilities that you see here on the screen as well. It helps reduce typing and silent time. The agent can focus solely on the customer and resolving their issue or collecting their information. They don't have to worry about documenting the call. Everything is being captured there in the live transcript for them. Robotic process automation is really utilizing the call transcripts to automate some of the operational tasks so the agent can really focus their undivided attention on that customer. So we can do things like look up orders. If the order number is said in the call transcript, we can auto-populate different CRM fields for case coding, such as subject codes, reason codes, product codes. We can pop different knowledge articles and recommend articles for the agent to use to make the call more efficient, so they don't actually have to search for any of the articles they need. We can prompts and alerts, we can pop those to the agent to make sure that if there's anything we want to call out to them during the call based on what's happening in the transcript, we can do that as well. And then at the end, we can automate a call summary so that we can generate that. So the agent doesn't have to take time to type that and summarize the call. We can do that automatically. So again, this helps reduce typing and silent time. It increases efficiency with reduced handle time for potential cost savings. And there is that reduction in training time as well, because we're helping the agent along the way with these different capabilities here. Insights and analytics. This is one where we actually partner with a third party called Idiomatic to help us categorize and analyze the unstructured contact data. And we use that to drive actionable insights across the board with the different contact data we're feeding in. So we can use this to mine across omni-channel contact data for these deeper insights, more deeper than the CRM can provide with just a high-level subject code. We can identify volume spikes in real time to help mitigate those issues faster. And we can identify additional self-serve opportunities and process improvements for potential additional cost savings. Finally, here, global scale, we have the ability to not only do the call transcription in English, but we can also do a number of different languages, and we can do a translation into English in real time as well. I think the best way to kind of highlight some of these capabilities is to show a few demos here. So this first one here is basically an e-commerce customer calling in to figure out where their order is and what's happening with it. And then they've got some additional questions that then we seamlessly transfer them to a live agent to help assist with.
Thank you for calling the company store. I understand full sentences. How can I help you today?
I want to know the status of my order.
Okay, please tell me your order number.
85496.
It looks like your order was placed yesterday and is currently being processed. It's scheduled to ship on October 5th via FedEx, and the estimated delivery date is October 8th. After your order ships, a tracking number will be available on the order detail page of our website, so you can check the status at your convenience. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Great. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Yes. Since my order hasn't shipped yet, I want to know if I can change the size on one of the items.
Okay. Please wait while I connect you with a specialist to further assist you.
So here, the virtual assistant was able to help them with the lower complexity issue of figuring out where their order was in the process. However, when they wanted to change their order, this had to go to a live agent. So the agent is able to review the entire transcript of everything that happened with the virtual assistant. They can click over to the knowledge base. The articles that are relevant have already pre-populated there for them. They don't have to search for them. So they know exactly what they need to do when they connect with the customer.
Hi, my name is Danny, and I'm happy to help you today. It sounds like you want to change the size on one of the items in your order, number 85496. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Since my order hasn't shipped yet, I'm hoping that I can change the size of the fleece jacket from small to medium.
It looks like the order will ship out tomorrow, so we definitely have time to update that order for you today. I'll go ahead and pull up the item right here and get that changed for you.
So this was just a short example here to highlight some of those capabilities. I am going to talk a little bit about what was happening on the screen because it was happening rather quickly. So I want to make sure that I'll point out a couple of things here. So we did see the transcript flowing in on the left side of the screen here. This is a Salesforce integration. As I said, we can integrate with open CRMs. We can also stream this and provide some of this additional information into a web page UI for customers who are using a CRM that does not have the capability for us to stream in here. In addition to that, the subject code over here automatically updated based on what happened in the call transcript with the virtual assistant, as well as some of these other fields over here, such as type was question, case type order, and case subject change order. So you could see the agent didn't have to do anything in the CRM besides click a couple of different tabs to help get the information that they needed to provide service to the customer, but there was no information that they needed to type. They didn't have to search for anything. Everything was filled in for them based on what was happening in the transcript here. So we've had some great results with a number of implementations that we've done. This example here is for a consumer packaged goods manufacturer. You can see the pretty significant reduction in average handle time results as we went through after implementation. It was about a $208,000 cost savings just based on the reduction in handle time for them. And this really was driven by not only the call transcript being in the case so that the agent didn't have to type and document everything, but we also had knowledge base recommendations working here for this as well. So it saved a lot of time for the agents, not only in capturing the information, but also in searching for articles that they needed as well. So there was about an 8% average lift in consumer experience through this as well. So positive impact there on the consumer side. And in addition, on the agent side, we did see a 57% reduction in attrition over this time here. However, we don't want to contribute all of that to Automate, as this was during the COVID work from home time. So we know there was a lot of other factors going on at this time as well, but we have seen similar results continue as we've started to come out of the pandemic here. One of the additional capabilities that we have that I talked about earlier involves RPA, and that is popping the alerts and prompts for our agents. We've seen success with this, especially with our more highly regulated clients, where there might be potential adverse events or product quality complaints that we need to make sure that the agents are identifying and capturing some additional information on. So you can see here on the screenshot, this is a potential adverse event popping here. I do have a short demo. I think I'm going to play that here. I think we've got enough time. It's only about 30 seconds, and I can talk a little bit about it as we go. So this is a similar setup to the other demo. We've got Salesforce integration here, and this is basically the agent is going to take the call. We don't have the virtual assistant set up here, but you'll be able to see the real-time alert pop
Thank you
here.
for calling the company store. My name is Danny. How can I help you today?
Hi, I recently purchased a bottle of lotion from your website and I got a really bad rash after I used it for a few days.
I'm so sorry to hear you had that experience. I'd like to gather some additional information from you. Do you have the product with you?
Yes, I do.
Great. Let's start with the UPC. It should be on the back of the bottle.
So you could see right at the end, all of the information was popping there. The potential adverse event pops, and that was based on the consumer saying that they had a rash. So that was something that we have keyword and machine learning set up to identify as an adverse event. And so that's something that popped that potential adverse event and provided the agent with information that they need to gather the product information and see the adverse event knowledge article for special handling instructions. So we can help the agents there by popping some additional prompts and alerts. We can also use this on 100% post-call monitoring as well to flag calls for human review. We have one client who wants to identify any sort of regulatory body that contacts us for any reason or has any mention of that on a consumer call. So we do a 100% post-call monitoring to flag these different contacts for a human to take a look at and see if it was something that was relevant to a regulatory body and something that we need to make sure was escalated properly. And then we can also do that in our post-call analytics through our idiomatic partnership as well. As you can see down on the bottom here, I'm going to go forward here and just talk a little bit more about that with insights and analytics. So as I mentioned, we do have a partnership with Idiomatic to help us categorize and analyze unstructured contact data. That can be call transcripts, that can be emails, that can be social media contacts, it can be chat transcripts, anything that has been digitized into a digital form, where we can use their machine learning model to analyze it. We can run through their model there. So really, we've been using this not only to identify voice of customer in sentiment analysis, but we've also been using it very successfully to help us identify different self-serve opportunities and process improvements. So any of those high volume, low complexity situations, like we talked about earlier with the order status, for example, those are things that we can identify and help us determine. We could use a virtual assistant for this. We could do any sort of process improvement to help with some of the efficiencies with the process. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this does help us identify volume spikes in real time as well, so that we can make sure that we are mitigating those faster. And then we do have actionable insights coming out of this as well, and allow us to make tangible recommendations for next steps. You can see on the right-hand side here, the different dashboards that are available. We can look at the issues by category. We can look at issues by the different questions that are asked by consumers. We've got a great sentiment analysis here as well. The sentiment model is customizable, so we can go through and make updates to that based on industry-specific words and phrases as well. And we can drill all the way down into the actual each specific contact here in the dashboard and get either the full transcript or the call summary as well. So some results that we had for an FDA regulated healthcare CPG manufacturer here. We took about 3 months worth of data just for one brand. That was about 6,600 cases. And we were able to identify about $50,000 in potential annualized cost savings, in addition to some top line growth opportunities for their e-commerce business here, just by identifying different things where we could update FAQs on the website, improve product labels or product pages. We could add some self-serve with a virtual assistant, include prompts and alerts for upsell and cross-sell, for basket building across their e-commerce business, and just some general process improvements as well. So the cost savings here really was generated in call avoidance or the top line growth that we could generate from basket building as well. So just kind of to wrap here and save some time for questions, really, as we talked about today, the AI is really there to help enhance the consumer experience and make things low effort for them, with whether it's the virtual assistant with self-serve or just helping them not to have to repeat themselves as they get to a live agent. And when they do get to a live agent, we can have the live agent focus solely on that consumer. They're not worried about typing and capturing all of the information because the AI is collecting all of that for them, coding the case for them, popping knowledge base articles that are relevant, so they can really engage with the customer and make sure that they're handling their issue efficiently and quickly to help them and resolve that. So in addition, we can leverage that rich real-time data from the voice interactions as well as interactions from other channels to really do that insights and analytics and drive not only voice of customer and sentiment analysis, but also all of the different efficiencies we can gain by looking at those processes and identifying all of those low complexity, high volume types of contacts that we can put some process automation around. So I think here I'm going to pause and just open it up for questions. Brian, I don't know if you want to, if you need to unmute the lines or what we need to do here for the questions.
No, I think everyone can unmute themselves. If you are finished, if you want to stop sharing, and then we can go into a gallery view and get the gallery.
Sure, that sounds great. Before we do that, I do just want to put in a plug. I know Terry is on the call here. Terry has a breakout session at SOCAP Indy coming up, where she's going to talk about kind of the journey for Purina and the contact center with conversational AI as well. So if you're attending SOCAP Indy, I would encourage you to attend Terry's session there.
Nice plug. Thanks, Dora.
Yeah, thank you, Dora.
You
Appreciate
bet.
that.
Dora, how long does it take to bring up some of these examples that we saw, like the one with the order change and all that? Like, what's the start to finish duration for bringing up a system that can do that?
The implementation process?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically what we'll do is we'll start with something, we'll usually start with the call transcripts, because that's really the foundational capability for all of these capabilities that we talked about today. And that usually takes about, depending on if we're doing CRM integration or not, that usually takes a couple of weeks to get up and running. If the client owns the CRM, it can take a little bit longer, just depending on technical resources on their end. But typically on our end, we can have that up and running in about 2 weeks. And then we do like to go through a speech adaptation period as well. We usually use about 6 weeks, so we can fine tune the model to make sure that we're getting the transcript accuracy that we're looking for. We can usually, out of the box, we usually get about 85% accuracy, but with the speech adaptation tuning and the different contexts that we put in, we can usually get that to about 90 to 95% accuracy. So that takes about 6 weeks. And then, we go through the training process with all of the agents, roll this out to them. I would say on the virtual assistant end, that can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, just depending on the virtual assistant intents that are being set up, whether it's order status or if it's something more complex. We just need time to do the integrations with the different systems that we need to tag into to pull that information out for the virtual assistant to supply to the consumer. So generally, you're looking about I would say probably about 2 to 3 months for a full implementation.
Exciting.
Absolutely. And I think off of that too, I want to say this isn't just a set it and forget it type of technology. This is something you have to continuously look at and tune. New products are being launched on a regular basis. There are new issues popping up. So definitely it's something that you need to keep an eye on and continually tune as you're going through. It's really not just a set it and forget it type of technology.
And I can share our journey was complicated in the sense that our CRM partner is Amplify and our knowledge base is Salesforce. So Dara and her team did an amazing job connecting the dots there to integrate the technology for our frontline staff. And it has been a game changer for sure. And I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg as it relates to understanding how we can leverage that data as well on the predictive analytics side. So exciting work that we're doing there too.
Thanks, Terry.
No, thank you. Great overview. Very helpful. Thank you.
How are your customers adopting to this?
As far as
I don't mean yours so much, Dara. I mean the end user consumer. How are they responding and adapting and feeling comfortable with it?
That's a good question. I think for the most part, except for the implementations with virtual assistant, I think it's pretty seamless to the end user. For a lot of our customers, some of our clients have had conversational AI basically with ASR and speech recognition in the IVR for about 10 years now at this point. So I think consumers are used to at least talking to the virtual assistant in the beginning. And if they have a complex issue, they know that they can get to a live agent. I think really having the capability of having the live agent see what has happened with the virtual assistant so that consumer doesn't have to repeat themselves. I think that's huge and, really helps with efficiency. And then they know they don't have to keep telling their story over and over again as they go through the technology and get to a live person. So, you saw the results on the other page with the 8% lift in consumer experience. I think it's fairly seamless as far as the knowledge base pops and some of the case coding and things like that. I think if anything, consumers are feeling like they're being heard more and being engaged with more with the use of the technology.
Thank you.
Hey, Dara, I have a quick question for you on the once the system is set up. Is the client updating the system or is that something you do? Who keeps it up to date?
Yeah, that's a service that we provide. We do a monthly maintenance on it to make sure we're keeping everything up to date. We're continually looking at different technologies that are out in the market as well to see if there's anything else we can use as a third party to bring in. We like to look for best in breed technologies, so that's something that we're doing with the services we provide. Certainly, if there are call transcripts or things that pop up or new items, we rely on the clients to help us and inform us of new things that are coming so that we can make sure that we're proactively updating things versus being reactive as we're seeing things happen in the transcripts. It's definitely a partnership that we do with the clients, but certainly it's something that we take the lead on and make sure that we're updating the technology regularly.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts? All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, if you have any other questions, you go back and share this with your team. You have questions, please reach out to Dara or your Alta resource contact. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to answer your questions for you. Dara, do you want to put your email address in the chat?
Yep, absolutely. I can do that.
I have to say that voice and AI combined has sure come a long way in the last 5 years. This is significantly improved over what we saw just 5 years ago, or even just 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's changing continuously. You know, every day something hits my inbox that says, oh, there's a new technology out there to go check out, or a new use case for how people are using it. So absolutely.
Great job, Dara. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. And thank you again to Alta Resources for sponsoring today's Tech Tuesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.